Stewie Griffin might sound like a British baby with a football-shaped head and an interesting orientation, but beneath the overalls lies a tiny, well-dressed psychopath. This kid has been plotting murders since the womb, and unlike most cartoon villains, he actually follows through. From calculated assassinations to impulsive rampages, Stewie has left behind a trail of bodies that would make Dexter blink twice.
You were wrong about me. I'm a mistake.
First up is the episode Mr. and Mrs. Stewie, where Stewie finally meets his soulmate in chaos, Penelope. She's charming, violent, and fully committed to destruction. Together, they become the most dangerous toddlers on television. Things kick off when Stewie plants a bomb inside Mort's wallet. The plan's simple. Mort opens it, and he explodes. Unfortunately, Mort goes 2 full weeks without checking his wallet, forcing Stewie to improvise. He rigs a new device to detonate whenever Mort burps into his hand. Mort lets one slip.
Better make sure my wallet's okay.
Now that the warm-up act is done, Stewie and Penelope go international.
We blew up the Great Wall of China, bombed the Eiffel Tower, and look at this note I sent off. Dear Pakistan,
Up yours. Love, India.
let's see what happens.
They did not need much.
And for Stewie's solo mission, he's tasked with destroying Copenhagen.
Okay, I have to destroy Copenhagen with a tidal wave, and the theme is the Roaring Twenties.
He somehow pulls it off. A giant wall of water crashes into the city and erases it from the map. The death toll is enormous. Mort is confirmed dead, and over 120,000 people are likely killed in the attack on Copenhagen. Combine that with the global bombings, and you're looking at Stewie Griffin's most prolific killing spree to date. In Road to the North Pole, what begins as a misguided attempt to deliver presents turns into a home invasion gone horribly wrong. Stewie and Brian, dressed as Santa, sneak into a stranger's house, hoping to drop off some last-minute gifts. They are barely inside before the homeowner catches them red-handed. He threatens to call the police. Brian panics and tries to talk him down, but Stewie wastes no time.
Sorry. What the hell did you do?
When the man groans and tries to move, Stewie finishes the job by cracking him again.
He's still alive.
The situation spirals fast. Just as they're trying to stage the scene to look like a burglary, the man's wife comes downstairs. She sees what's happened and immediately starts screaming. Brian freaks out and calls for help. Stewie grabs the bat and takes her out with a single blow. She drops, lifeless, right in front of their daughter. Now Stewie is standing in the living room, surrounded by presents, a traumatized child, and 2 fresh corpses. In this episode, Stewie murders both parents in a single house. That is 2 confirmed kills in under 3 minutes. Next is Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the episode where Stewie plays baby Jesus in a biblical reimagining that is anything but peaceful. The setup is dramatic. King Herod, played by Carter Peterschmidt, learns of the prophecy about a new king being born and decides the best solution is to send soldiers to kill him. Classic overreaction.
You guys get him! You guys get him! I forgot something at the palace!
The soldiers barely get a chance to draw their swords. One by one, they're mowed down by what might as well be a biblical airstrike. The attack is so fierce that King Herod, who is Carter here, chooses to escape the battleground. This is not divine intervention, this is a massacre. Despite being cast as the savior of mankind, Stewie murders at least 12 royal soldiers in a single scene. Peace on Earth does not apply when Stewie is in charge. In Stewie Kills Lois Part 2, things take a sharp and bloody turn inside the Griffin household. Stewie is taking control of the family. He's armed, unhinged, and running the show like a pint-sized dictator in footy pajamas, demanding compliments from Peter about the macaroni picture of an owl he made last week.
Look! Do you like it?
Yes.
What do you like about it specifically? Pick something or I'll blow your brains out!
I like how it looks like an owl.
Peter stammers through compliments just to stay alive. Just when the tension in the room seems unbearable, Cleveland walks in through the front door with a cheerful hello, completely unaware of the armed meltdown happening inside.
Hey, Griffins, just checking in.
Holy crap! Stewie!
There's no dramatic pause or final words, just a clean, brutal takedown like Stewie is checking off a to-do list. Eventually, we learn that this entire sequence is just part of a simulated scenario Stewie's testing.
Hey, Stewie, we got a postcard. What are you doing?
So I was just running a simulation to find out exactly how killing her and taking over the world would play out for me.
Yeah? How'd that go?
Not well, Brian.
Next up is the episode Rich Old Stewie, where Stewie yet again commits a couple of murders. The episode kicks off with Brian and old loaded Stewie traveling back to Quahog after hearing Peter is dying. Stewie is reluctantly convinced to reconnect with his washed up family. Chris is now a cigar smoking burnout.
Chris, you live in filth. What have you been doing?
Meg is a little too cheerful.
1 sec. Yeah, go, go, go!
and the entire house is falling apart. Still, Stewie plays along, mostly out of guilt and some distant flicker of obligation.
Your father's had severe diabetes ever since they opened 3 ice cream stores in town.
This is awful, and it's all my fault. Oh, Pop, I am so sorry I abandoned you all. I never should have left home. What can I do?
Just when things start to feel sentimental, the big reveal drops. Peter is fine. The whole thing is a con. The family faked his illness just to squeeze something out of Stewie. And worst of all, they actually seem proud of themselves for pulling it off. What they don't know is that Stewie already saw through it.
I snuck into the kitchen and turned up the gas before I left. Chris should be lighting his cigar right about...
The house explodes into a fireball. Peter, Lois, Meg, and Chris all die instantly. Stewie calmly walks away, leaving only Brian alive. 4 members of the Griffin family murdered, all in one swift, calculated act of revenge. Stewie's back at it again in the episode Chick Cancer, where we witness one of his darkest and most personal crimes. What starts as an innocent jab at a washed-up child actress quickly spirals into an unhinged romance and cold-blooded double murder. Olivia, Stewie's former co-star, returns to Quahog in a desperate attempt to revive her career. Stewie is eager to mock her downfall.
Boy, I'm gonna take her down right in front of everybody. All right, Olivia, get ready to... Good Lord!
It's been a while.
Yeah, no, it has. Oh, so you're back in town? God, you look great. I mean, you're all in shape.
Determined to win her heart, Stewie reinvents himself. With some terrible dating advice from Brian, he leans hard into the aloof and cold bad boy persona. Against all logic and reason, it works.
Your skin has the texture of a decorative autumn squash. So I'll pick you up at 7?
That sounds wonderful.
She said yes.
Olivia starts to see him as boyfriend material, and they go full speed into a mock marriage, complete with a teddy bear priest.
Stewie, take you, Olivia, to be my lawfully wedded wife. What's that, Rupert? Oh, kiss the bride. Yes.
But fake weddings don't make real love. At a party, Olivia starts flirting with another child actor. Stewie becomes suspicious. His worst fears are confirmed when he walks in on her cheating inside their cardboard house.
Sweetie, listen, I'm sorry.
Oh, Stewie, I thought you were at Chuck E. Cheese with your mom.
Humiliated and furious, Stewie leaves, but not before turning on the gas and tossing in a match.
Idea for a farce. Cheating wife and Papa's ass burned alive.
A truly fiery ending to Stewie's short-lived marriage. The episode And Then There Were Fewer turns a classic murder mystery dinner into a full-blown killing spree. With the residents of Quahog gathered in a spooky mansion, it doesn't take long before the bodies start piling up. But in this case, Stewie holds his fire until the very end. It begins with James Woods inviting everyone over for a dinner party at his mansion. Things get weird when people start turning up dead. A trail of suspicious clues point to Tom Tucker, and by morning, it seems like the mystery is solved.
You're all gonna pay for this! When the movie of this story comes out, I'm gonna make sure Adrian Brody plays you. I guess that means you don't want anyone to see it.
But Lois digs deeper and discovers that Diane Simmons is behind all of it. Her motive? James Woods dumped her on her 40th birthday, and Channel 5 was replacing her with someone younger. Diane planned the entire massacre to frame Tom Tucker, making him look like a vengeful anchor trying to keep his spot. As Lois tries to escape, Diane corners her with a gun, ready to add one more body to her count.
I won't tell anybody, I swear to God.
That's right. You won't.
Is anyone there?
It's Stewie, a true hero who doesn't want anybody to kill Lois but himself. It's a short moment, but it's one of the most deliberate killings Stewie ever commits. Another murder, and for this, Stewie waited until the perfect moment to take out Diane without hesitation. In The Man with Two Brians, the Griffin family brings home a fresh-faced, overly cheerful golden retriever named New Brian. While everyone else quickly embraces his upbeat energy, Stewie senses something off from the start. He's suspicious, uncomfortable, and increasingly irritated by New Brian's desperate need to fit in. But things escalate from annoyance to outrage when New Brian crosses a sacred line.
Rupert humped him for 2 hours yesterday. He just laid there and took it. And now every time you're sleeping with him, he's gonna be thinking of me.
In that moment, you can see the light go out in Stewie's eyes. Stewie is seen pulling a large trash bag streaked with blood out to the bin. When the family hears that New Brian has allegedly killed himself, it raises a few eyebrows, but no one questions it too deeply.
That is why I killed myself, chopped myself up, and put myself in the garbage. Wow, he must have had some demons.
Nobody says what really happened. The only one who knows the truth is Stewie, and he doesn't need to brag. For him, this was justice.
We'll talk about it when you want to talk about it.
In Season 19, Episode 5, titled La Familia Guy, Stewie discovers that Brian ate his precious Stella D'Oro breakfast cookies. Now, for most people, this would spark a brief argument or maybe a passive-aggressive silent treatment. But for Stewie Griffin, this is cause for capital punishment. Then, in a gesture that seems almost sweet, he suggests to Brian that the two of them go fishing together.
I like having those Stella D'Oro breakfast cookies.
Oh, I ate those. Sorry.
Ah, no problem, Brian. Hey, what do you say you and I do a little fishing?
Out on the lake, everything seems peaceful. Then, without warning, Stewie pulls out a revolver and shoots Brian point blank in the back of the head. Stewie doesn't say a word afterward. Cold, calculated, and deeply personal. Next up is the action-packed episode Lego My Mego, where Meg gets abducted by European sex traffickers while on a trip abroad. Naturally, the Griffins do what any concerned family would in this situation. Absolutely nothing. Until Stewie and Brian decide they have had enough of waiting around. Stewie, channeling full Liam Neeson energy, declares war on the criminal underworld. What follows is a European bloodbath, and Stewie wastes no time getting down to business.
I will take Drakkar Noir.
Where is this girl? Where is she?
We keep girls upstairs.
I hope you burn in hell.
Stewie quickly dispatches the first two men with brutal precision with a gun. Turns out, Meg has been taken to a different location and going after her has a whole lot of risks. Stewie and Brian end up captured and locked up in a basement. And just like every other time, they break loose and Stewie ends up knocking one of the thugs out with a chair. We will count that as another murder. But just when you think the carnage is over, they finally find Meg in a room with another guy.
Princess Meg.
Oh, yes! Yes!
To be fair, Stewie thought the guy was part of a trafficking ring. Whether he was or not, well, that was never confirmed. But this is Stewie. If there is even a chance you are involved, you're not making it to the end credits. By the time the dust settles, Stewie has killed 3 known sex traffickers and 1 very unlucky, maybe innocent man. In the Three Kings episode, Stewie steps into a much darker role as a deranged little girl who kidnaps Brian, who has been renamed Paul for this story, and holds him hostage in a twisted attempt to rewrite a novel.
Oh no, this won't do, Paul. You can't just have Snuggly Jeff magically brought back to life by a child's wish. It's insulting to the reader.
The entire scenario is a parody of Misery, and Stewie plays the part a little too well. But things escalate when Joe shows up to save the day. And this time, Joe is walking.
Oh my god, I'm saved! Let's get out of here before Stewie gets back!
Joe falls to the floor, screaming in pain, realizing that his days of walking are now over.
I'm gonna have to spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair!
No, you're not.
And just like that, Stewie casually goes back to tormenting Brian like nothing happened. For Stewie, killing Joe was not even a major event, it was a minor inconvenience in a larger, more sinister project. Another murder courtesy of our little villain. Next up is a very early episode of Family Guy, Chitty Chitty Death Bang, where Stewie is introduced in full villain mode. He senses something sinister is afoot when Lois starts planning a birthday party and there's a mysterious man who just happens to be dressed in all white attending it. Once the man in white enters the house, Stewie springs into action. He lures him into a corner, toy laser in hand, but it's no toy.
What the hell is this?
It's a boy.
He ambushes him like a pint-sized James Bond villain, cornering him while hurling cryptic one-liners. Stewie murders the man in white with a laser gun, convinced he was an agent trying to return him to the womb. Another death, and 1 very happy baby. In the episode Hannah Banana, Stewie reaches new levels of deranged fanboy energy. All he wants is to attend a Hannah Montana concert in Quahog. But the show is sold out, and Brian refuses to help him. That was a mistake. Stewie decides that the best way to convince Brian is through psychological warfare.
Recognize him, Brian?
No.
It's your brother. I found him for you, buddy.
What? Jerry?
He lures Brian in with a surprise reunion. There, on the monitor, is Jerry, Brian's brother, alive.
What's that big thing around his neck?
Oh, I'll show you.
Ah! Oh my god!
Well, sort of. But Stewie's not done. That was just 1 dog. There were 9 in the litter. Jerry, in Stewie's words, was the lucky one.
There were 9 dogs in that litter.
Stewie filmed the entire montage of executions like it was a twisted art project. The message is crystal clear. Brian, shaken and probably traumatized for life, agrees.
Wait, you managed to hunt down 8 dogs that were born years ago on a farm in Texas, and you can't manage to get Hannah Montana tickets?
Even then, the logic is as insane as the murders. It's Family Guy. The laws of logic died long ago. In the Season 4 episode Guy Who Receives, Stewie somehow ends up behind the controls of an airport traffic tower, and for absolutely no reason, he's allowed to start handling incoming flights like a bored teenager playing Flight Simulator. Then comes a transmission that pushes him straight into murder mode.
Matthew McConaughey's private jet, requesting permission to land.
All our runways are filled.
But it looks empty from up here. We're almost out of fuel.
Lucky for you, there's a big new airport out in the middle of the ocean. Keep going, you can't miss it.
Roger that.
Oops.
But the horror doesn't end there. Somehow, McConaughey survives the crash and actually tracks Stewie down.
Looking for a guy named Stewie. Ow!
Chris, grab his legs. I gotta bury this thing.
But
Grab his legs!
Stewie treats it like a weekend chore. There's no remorse, just the cleanup. For most characters, accidentally causing a celebrity's plane crash would be the peak of their villain arc. For Stewie, it's just a setup. Next up is the episode Halloween on Spooner Street, where Stewie proves once again that giving a toddler access to firearms is never a good idea. The chaos begins when he looks out the window and sees a swarm of costumed children approaching the house.
I knew this day would come. Rupert, we're under attack by monsters. Dear God!
Stewie jumps to the most extreme conclusion possible and thinks it's a zombie apocalypse. So Stewie grabs a fully loaded machine gun and starts unloading rounds directly into the crowd of children.
Hey, Stewie, you all set to go trick-or-treating? Whoa, what the hell are you doing?
We don't see any bodies hit the ground, but let's be honest here. Statistically, at least 3 of those poor trick-or-treaters weren't making it home that night. Brian shows up a second too late and tries to explain the obvious, that they're not real zombies, they're just children in Halloween costumes.
We're under attack, Brian! By zombies and vampires and a Mexican princess!
Stewie, those aren't monsters, they're kids. That's what kids do on Halloween. They dress up in costumes and they go around asking for candy. How do you not know about trick-or-treating?
In this episode, Stewie kills at least 3 innocent trick-or-treaters by mistakenly identifying them as monsters and opening fire on them with a machine gun in broad daylight. And lastly, in Killer Queen, Stewie is pushed to his emotional limit by a record album. The cover art of Queen's News of the World is scaring the hell out of him as he thinks it's some sort of robot monster.
What the hell is that? A killer robot monster?
Oh, it's News of the World. It's an album by the band Queen, see?
It haunts his every thought, and Brian, ever the loving companion, uses it as psychological warfare to terrorize Stewie for laughs. Stewie's convinced that the robot is real and that it's coming to destroy everything he loves. So what does he do? He grabs a gun. Not for self-defense, but for what he believes to be a mercy killing.
Rupert, we won't give that evil robot the satisfaction of killing us on our own terms. See you on the other side.
Of course, Rupert is a stuffed animal, but to Stewie, he's family. He's real, and now, thanks to Stewie's breakdown, he's very, very dead. And just when Stewie is about to pull the trigger on himself, Brian rushes in and tries to reason with the shaken toddler. He explains the robot is just artwork. Queen is fine. Well, most of them. And even though he's not flesh and blood, the loss hit Stewie like a freight train. He believed he was saving him, but in doing so, he became his killer. Stewie Griffin has left a trail of over 120,000 bodies, including those of family, friends, strangers, and even stuffed animals. For a baby, that's more than just mischief, that's murder on a ridiculous scale. And yet, the family still tucks him in every night. Maybe the scariest part isn't what Stewie does, but how no one ever stops him.